The Buffalo Bills just found their next set of 3 defensive cornerstones. Bills Mafia. Today, I want to break down 3 guys on our team that are really ascending talents, and I realize it. We just lost to the Miami Dolphins in Miami. They're 3-7. We're 6-3. It doesn't feel good, but there are some silver linings here. Even behind the box score, and even behind the PFF grades, we've got some young guys right now that are going to be, I think, defensive cornerstones of this team for the next 3, 4, even maybe 5+ years that I want to break down. They're guys under contract that as total have less than a $6 million cap hit between the 3 of them. And frankly, they're looking really good. But I want to parallel the Bills season with, I think, a little bit of a construction site. Just about 2 miles down the road, or about a mile down the road from me, next to a local high school, there's a new home or a new neighborhood that's being built by one of those big construction companies. They're putting about 30 to 40 homes in the next year or two, and frankly, right now there's 5 houses that they put up in the last, I don't know, month and a half. It's insane how quickly sometimes these houses can come up. They laid the foundation, they poured the street, they got the electrical in, they got the gas in, they put the water in, they were getting the power and everything all set, they got the foundation, they got the cement trucks in, they were doing all this work, and then within a couple days, boom, a house is up, and within a couple days, boom, the siding's on, the roof's done, and it looks great. And then for some reason, I drive past there for like 3 or 4 or 5 weeks, and out of nowhere, or maybe not out of nowhere, but then I see nothing done with the development. And it's like there's like a ton of progress overnight, and then the next week, the next 2 weeks, it's like there's nothing that happens. And frankly, I feel like that's the Bills season right now. I feel like the Buffalo Bills have had some really high highs and some really low lows. Like last week, we just went and beat Kansas City and have like the biggest victory lap that we ever could in the middle of our season, beating Patrick Mahomes. And then this week, we go against Tua Tagovailoa, and he beats us down. Devin Achane ran all over us. And, the injuries have been piling up, and it's been hurt, and it's been painful. And it's like our season, it's like we see all this progress, and then out of nowhere, everything falls out or nothing is developed and nothing happens. And again, regardless of what you think about the current coaching staff, whether it's the coordinators, whether it's the head coach, or even the front office and Brandon Beane, there is 3 players on our team right now that we need to break down in Cole Bishop, Maxwell Hairston, and Deone Walker, guys who are all under 25, guys who will be on this roster, barring a big trade of some sort for the next handful of years. And I want to break them down to you just today briefly. But hey, if you do not have a community of people or a community of Bills fans that you talk with and connect with each and every single week regarding Buffalo Bills football, make sure that you smash the subscribe button and join our community. My name is Colin. I created Crack the Table so that we, Bills Mafia, could have another outlet of conversation, another place where we could break down some film, that we could talk a little bit about our team, get excited. I'm a glass half full kind of guy. I usually have a pretty upbeat tempo with these videos, but again, in all of it, I want to bring facts, I want to bring truth, and even perspective and joy along the way. So if you are looking for a community, make sure to join us, subscribe to the channel, but also drop a like if you haven't already. Those help me out just personally, get this video out to more and more people in the algorithm. But also, what was something from Sunday's game against the Dolphins that's really been sticking out to you that you really think that maybe not a lot of people are talking about, but we need to have more attention? And I realize I could talk about so many negative things and all the things going around in media, but today I want to talk about 3 great highlights in our team, in our organization right now. But I want to start with why this matters, and really Cole Bishop and why he matters. Again, he's a second-year player. He was a second-round pick even, and he came in. He's got a pretty big frame. He's 6'2", 207-ish pounds. He plays strong. He plays fast. He plays a lot of free safety, and he's been getting a ton of snaps. We know that last year Cole Bishop struggled here and there. I think communication was a pretty big issue, especially with the zone defense for a rookie coming in. But next to Taylor Rapp and Damar Hamlin, especially with both of them now being out with injuries, both on IR. We don't even know if either of them are going to come back. It doesn't sound good for either of them. But Cole Bishop has been thrust into this role. We know that he was thrust into the role at the end of last year as well, even in the playoffs. But he's been ascending as a player, and especially these last two games against the Dolphins and the Chiefs, he's made some really big plays. He's been great against the Chiefs. He was frankly everywhere, and even Sean McDermott was acknowledging that he's playing more and more, or he's giving more of a veteran presence for the back end of the defense. McDermott specifically said he's seemingly like a vet on the field. And I know he's a second-year player, but by definition, he's only a sophomore in the league, right? He's not a fourth, fifth, or sixth year player who has had a seasoned level of provenness, but he is still ascending. Against Miami, he's got the interception that should have frankly been a bigger play than it was. But again, he had a couple tackles for loss, and again, that's what made maybe Micah Hyde and Poyer so dangerous, is that they were when they were really great in their prime, was that they could get after the ball and they could get after the quarterback on some of these design blitzes or even just these big tackles. And Bishop is showing that even just at 23 years old on a rookie deal as a second-round pick, basically a net neutral cap hit, that he has the ability to continue to grow as a player and potentially ascend to the level of player that we desire him to be. And again, that's how you build an AFC or a team that's consistently competing in the AFC through smart, stable, homegrown players. And so this is good news. This is really good news for us. But the second one that I want to talk about is Maxwell Hairston. Maxwell Hairston was a guy that we missed since the end of July, but the last 2 weeks, he's kind of changed the equation a little bit for our defense, especially with Benford out, especially with some of the other injuries that we've had on our defense. We've really been struggling in the soft zone coverage, but now we have a guy in most circumstances can go toe-to-toe with some of the faster, bigger receivers in the NFL. Now, I know Maxwell Hairston didn't have the best PFF grade, but when you look at the assignments that he was given on Sunday, and you look at some of the ways that the defense is currently using him, even in pretty vanilla manners, he is still performing pretty well as a player. Again, he's a ball hawk coming out of college. He's very fast, and he's been showing that he can make big tackles. He does. There was a play where I think it was Achan that was getting away. He went and scored a touchdown, I believe. But you know who was trailing him and chasing him and playing with a dog level of effort? He was running as fast and as hard as he could. He almost caught him, I think, at the end of it. But he was playing incredibly hard. And for a player who's, yes, a first-round pick, end of the first round, but a guy who's ascending as a talent, it's Maxwell Hairston. He had another pick this week against Tua, and we really love to see that. And I think it's a growth in his technique that's going to continue to allow him and his attributes and even his psychological development, or his ability to process and break down the game as it's developing in front of him, is going to really lead him to a much greater and much more consistent career. Again, this is the first time really that we've seen him play a larger number of snaps, but if Buffalo can play aggressive in man, but I think Buffalo will be able to play more aggressive in man coverage. Again, Trey White is great in some senses, but really he's lost a step. And because we have the speed now of this guy and Maxwell Hairston, I think we will be able to play a little bit more man coverage, even though we thrive, or we primarily play zone coverage in the McDermott system. But more than that, again, Hairston's allowing 85 a passer rating overall so far in his career. I'm going to be watching that. The PFF grades and everything I don't love, because sometimes passes are given or passes are associated with a defensive back who's playing off assignment, or or the scheme is not really friendly to that. But in all of it, when your rookie corner goes toe-to-toe with Jalen Waddle or some of the other premier receivers like Xavier Worthy with his speed, you really just love to see that. And so we've got something in Maxwell Hairston that we are only beginning to uncover. But the third guy I want to briefly talk about here again is Deone Walker. And I think he's going to be a huge anchor for us in years to come. It's terrible news that TJ Sanders was hurt and put on IR. I think he's going to be back in the next couple weeks. It's terrible news that Daquan Jones was hurt. It's terrible news that Dwayne Carter was hurt, that Ed Oliver was hurt, that even now Michael Hoyt was hurt. But the shining silver lining on our defense is none other than Deone Walker. Again, the fourth round guy who was touted as a first round talent, but we picked him up in the fourth round. Brandon Beane stole him in the draft, and he's continually proving that he can make tackles for losses. He's continually proving that he can hold the line on rundowns. He's often now getting double teams with the way that our defense is lined up, but he is ascending as a player. His pad levels are getting better every single week, and defenses are more and more having to give him that double team attention that normally was reserved for a guy like Ed Oliver. And I love this, Ogunjobi is playing, I think, already better than we maybe expected in light of Deone Walker's ascension as well. When you put all of these things together, Walker in the trenches, Hairston on the outside, and also in zone coverage, and then in the back end is free safety, Cole Bishop. You've got homegrown defensive talent that's going to outlast whatever happens to the coaching staff this offseason, if they do move on from them, or even the general manager. But again, it's not just about surviving in the short term. It's about thriving, I believe, in the long term. And while this past week was a struggle, was difficult, was painful, Bishop, Hairston, and Walker are all showing that they're going to be contributors, not just consolation prizes that we get later on or in the draft. Their combined cap hit, again, next season is less than $6 million, and they all should play at, frankly, I believe, a Pro Bowl level going into this next season. Again, for Buffalo, when we had some of those other guys in some of those other prime years of even the Leslie Frazier years for our defense, we had key contributors on the back end like Poyer and Hyde and even Trey White earlier on in his career. And I think these guys are going to be the next wave of defensive cornerstones for the Buffalo Bills. And with all that being said, it's fair right now to be frustrated. It's fair to say, hey, we need more receiving options. Brandon Beane, why didn't you do anything? The injuries keep stacking up. The wide receivers are inconsistent. Frankly, Josh Allen's looking for the big play when he should take the underneath route sometimes. The energy isn't always there in the way that we want to see it, but the foundation in Buffalo is still ascending. Bills Mafia, don't overlook that. Don't go doom and gloom on us. Don't fall off the wayside. Believe the truth that some of these guys are going to be assets for years to come, and we have got to be excited about that. Lots, again, to break down, but the Buffalo Bills, I believe, just found their next set of cornerstone defensive players. All that being said, my name is Colin. This is Crack the Table. We're all Bills, no breaks, every single day, breaking down Buffalo Bills content. So have a great day. Be good, do good. God bless. Go Bills. Peace out.